I'm Ruth Edwards. I'm a professional cyclist for human-powered health, and I really fucking hate being pregnant. Hi, I'm Ruth Edwards. I'm a professional cyclist for human-powered health. I've been racing bikes since I was a teenager, and I'm 30 weeks pregnant, and I'm sitting here with Holly Lawrence.
Hi, I'm Holly Lawrence. I'm a professional triathlete, and this last year was my first year coming back after a baby. I've been a pro triathlete for, like 15 years. Yeah, happy to chat and talk about our experiences.
Yeah, thanks so much. It can be kind of isolating being a pregnant athlete, so I just appreciate having some time to sit and chat with another athlete. I think women feel a lot of guilt to say, oh, I hate being pregnant, because maybe it comes across as I'm ungrateful, or there are a lot of friends that I have that have really struggled to get pregnant or don't have any children because they couldn't get pregnant. So when I say I hate being pregnant, it feels like hard to say it. And it's not that I'm not grateful to be pregnant or that I can't wait for this baby boy to be here, because I'm so excited to meet him and see what he looks like. I just don't like being pregnant. I just really don't. And it's not that, like you said earlier, I wouldn't do it again, because I'm sure I would, but it's just really not fun. And I think just not in pregnancy, but in life, we have a tendency to try and be like, it's great, everything's great, you know, but it doesn't mean that you're like, I don't know, it doesn't have to be bad. Just because I say I hate it doesn't mean that it's a bad thing, you know. So I think that's where it comes from.
Yeah, when you're a year removed from it, you're like, oh, that was a short amount of time. But when you're in something, like, it feels like forever.
Especially
you're just like
throwing up every day.
Yeah, it's the worst. Which is actually quite funny, because I didn't really get much nausea during pregnancy. My mum didn't, my sister didn't. I feel like somehow we got lucky on that.
It's lovely.
But now, every race morning, and I've never been nauseous. Never. I'm like, I could eat my breakfast fine. Every race that's happened, I'm throwing up walking on the way to the race, and I'm like, I don't even feel nervous. And Sean, my husband's like, was no coincidence. It's like I'm telling him it's unrelated to the race happening. Every race morning, I am like gagging, eating my breakfast, which like you really have to like eat a lot, especially doing an Ironman. And I'm like trying to hide myself, like throwing up as I'm walking up, like to go race. And I'm like, what the heck? Why couldn't I have had this during pregnancy, not now? Which is, it's bizarre. It's bizarre.
So weird how your body changes. Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the last laugh now.
Yeah, like I was saying, it can be really isolating to be a professional athlete. And for me, myself, looking at social media, I was just like, oh my gosh, all these athletes are like crushing goals and running marathons and riding 15 hours a week. And I just had this experience where I was so sick and so nauseous that immediately, like, I went from racing the cycling world championships, to just like plummeting and sitting on the couch. And I didn't even have a choice. Some people have been like, oh, is that really hard for you? And I'm like, it would have been if I had an option, but I just like had no option. And as I'm learning and talking to more women, it's just like so different for everybody has this different experience. And just like coming at it with this mindset of like, you can't really do it wrong. You can just do it the best way for you. Yeah.
And especially for me, like early on in pregnancy, I was like pretty naive. I was like, there should be more guidelines out there. Like I need to know what's possible. And then like the further along in pregnancy that I got, I was like, oh wow, it's really obvious that like every pregnancy is so different, because like, I don't know, I didn't really believe that before it happened to me, you know, like I'm pretty like stubborn until I have to like live an experience. And then I'm like, oh, okay, it's pretty humbling. And then I was kind of glad there weren't like any strict, like, you know, you could be doing this, because like, some things you can do, sometimes you can't. And like for me, I stopped running like almost at the end of 2 months into pregnancy, and I thought I would be running all the way through pregnancy. But yeah, you really realize that, yeah, you're so different. And I think it was good for me because I didn't really, like, I had nothing to compare it to, and I really didn't compare myself to anything. I was just very, very in tune with my body. Instead of like overriding it as being an athlete, I was like, oh no, this is what I'm supposed to do. And like, it was my own body's like feedback was very loud and clear, and I actually listened to it.
Yeah, it's crazy that I kind of giggled when you said about, you know, you thought you could like muscle over it. And I totally thought that before I was pregnant. Like, I'd watch my sister go through some terrible nausea, just other friends. And I was like, I'm gonna have a good nutrition program. I'm gonna have a schedule. I'll have timers. Like, I will muscle my way through any nausea that comes up. And then I was nauseous. I took a pregnancy test. And then like at 5.5 weeks pregnant, like really early on, I threw up for the first time, and I was like, oh cute, like this is like the movies, I threw up in the morning. And then it just kept going and going, and I was on multiple different medications, and no matter what nutrition program, no matter how hard I tried to like force myself to eat a vegetable or like go for a walk, it didn't matter. Like, I just couldn't do anything. So it's just crazy that just like your body's just like, you don't have control anymore. Yeah. Was that hard for you to like kind of get over that like lack of control? Or
with me, actually not. And I know, like, if it seems like you've maybe struggled with it a bit more.
A little bit, yes and no,
like
because
emotionally.
like emotionally, yeah, just because I had to get over like, oh, I thought I could do this, I thought I could do that, and then, but not really in the moment, because in the moment you don't really have a choice. It's more like that, those few moments where you do feel good and you're like panicked that you didn't do anything, and the time that you felt bad, because in the moment you feel good, you don't really remember how terrible you felt, like if that makes sense. So yeah. No, that's good that you could have some confidence, and also just, it seems like you had a little confidence in just really listening to your body. And then when you kind of came back from your pregnancy and just like trusting that you can do it and your body could do it, like, did you ever waver in like, now I have a newborn and I have to try and figure out how I'm going to start to train? Or did you just take it a day at a time?
Really a day at a time. Like, even like definitely the pregnancy, even when at 2 months, it was the end of 2 months, because I totally forgot all of this, and I was reacquainting myself with Training Peaks last night, and it was quite funny to look back on it, because there's like so many rides that are just labeled nope, where I've like gone out, ridden 15 minutes, and then like soft pedaled all the way home, and I've fueled up for the ride, I've got loads of food with me so I won't bonk, and then it was like, no, it wasn't meant to be. And at the end of 2 months, I did my last long run, and even in my head I was like, oh no, I only didn't run for like 3 months, but I really didn't run for almost 7 months. Like, I tried to run again, you know, a few weeks after, saw some PT, but I think for me, I always thought, well, everything's just changing. I have no idea. There's no point worrying what's going to happen in 4 weeks' time. Like, maybe it'll all change. Maybe I'm going to be able to run again. And like that, I think it's just like really grounding you into like the present, and especially when baby comes, like the changes that happen, like their sleep, their everything. Like, yeah, I was talking with my husband last night. I'm like, do you remember, you know, going through the different phases of like, you know, from feeding and night feeding and everything? And we're laughing because like just the changes are so rapid that like you really can't not live in the present, which is, it's actually a really good thing when you come back to sport, because I think we just put so much judgment around like where we are, where we need to be, and like getting back to just like being present is actually like probably one of the best things that's come out of coming back to sport, and like just enjoying like the day, the now, like the tailwind, if it's like you're having kind of a sweet spot, and then like, yeah, sure, it's going to change any moment, but yeah, that's been helpful.
Yeah, there's just like so many metrics in being a professional athlete that I've just been like, I want to throw them all out the window. Like, even my Whoop sometimes will be like, you're having a green peak day, and I'm like, fuck out. Like, I'm not having a green peak day. I threw up 3 times last night, but then just like kind of, I don't know, like listening to yourself, and like you said, not pushing it when it doesn't need to be pushed. And like, it sounds like you really gave yourself the time to come back. I think for me in my schedule, like if I'm to return to sport, like it's like, do I race in January? Like how soon do I have to be racing? And that is already like making me feel so stressed. And so to like talk to someone that's like, maybe just like take a little bit of time and take that breath and like have the confidence to do it. It's for me helpful to hear you say like, I took the time and it came back, but you have to allow.
I think
that's what I'm hearing is you're saying you have to allow the time.
If you stop chasing it, it actually comes. Like it's like not putting pressure on. And even like I didn't run for 7 months. We had no idea how it was going to be coming back. And like, you know, I started running, I don't know how many weeks it was after giving birth. I think it was like 4 weeks. Because I've been like increasing my walking, or maybe it was like 3 weeks. And then I broke my sacrum a couple of weeks after. And it was like, before, if that happened to me, I would have been like, the world just ended. Like, this is the whole scene, you know, you're catastrophizing, you're like everything. But it was kind of like, okay, well, what do I do now? Okay, you know, you're just like, and I think especially with a baby, like you're always in troubleshoot mode. You're like, diaper, check, like feed them, okay? It's not that, you know, then if there's nothing else, then you just keep yourself calm and you like carry on and like, having that attitude is, I feel like, coming back was way easier, more because of the mentality around it of just like, letting it happen. We have no expectations. We can't like foresee how it's going to go. And
did you have any anxiety over like the weight gain in pregnancy and then like feeling stressed about that part afterwards, postpartum? That's a lot of what my feed is at the moment on Instagram.
No,
it's just like
postpartum
rush. I want to delete Instagram. Honestly, my husband has been like, "Why do you still have this app
you can
on your
like
phone?"
tap the 3 things and be like, "Show me less of this." You need that.
It'll be like, "Here's my body at one like pregnant. Here's my body at 4 months postpartum," and just like this whole like push to be a certain way, and I don't know, it's not even like professional athletes that I see, it's just like a lot of women. And I've talked to my big sister has a 7-month-old, and just like the pressure in general, like to feel that. Did you feel that? Or
I mean, I remember really hating my body during pregnancy, and like especially I went to like a prenatal yoga like almost at the time of like giving birth, like I think it was like a week before, because we were induced early, and like everyone else looked so good. Like they had these like textbooks like beach ball bellies, but the rest of them was like tiny, and I just like absorbed it, you know, like and I look back and I've not got a single photo of me during pregnancy. I just didn't want to be in front of a camera.
Sad for you, actually.
No, but like that helps me. Like I didn't like obsess in the mirror. I just didn't want to be like, even we were out for a wedding in Ibiza, and me in a bikini. I remember my husband had like taken photos of me and I'm like, delete those. And I did make him delete it, but I was trying to find them to show you. And I was like, oh no, we actually did delete them. Like I made them. But I'm like, it's just hard at the time because you still are like a professional athlete, and it's just hard having those like two worlds exist when you just like want to be a pregnant person. But I think also when you're athletic, you don't look like the typical pregnant person that like, you know, is in a magazine or whatever. But then coming back honestly, and like I feel like I've got a healthier like relationship with my body now, because it's more of like what it's done instead of like, I'm probably gonna always have like maybe a bit extra skin, like even if I did get super lean, and I'm not as lean as I was pre-pregnancy, but I'm really not, like I really don't care, which before I would have cared for sure. And like, I don't know, I think if you, it's like what you choose to focus on. If you choose to focus on like what your body's doing, especially if you're like feeding your baby and like, and you see them and they're thriving and you're like, that's really what matters.
Yeah, it just reminds me of this thing that I say to myself, which only matters as much as you let it matter.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
there are obviously things we need to achieve to continue being really high level in our sport, but there's a lot of really anxious type A people in sport. And I don't know, listening to you talk sounds a little bit like myself in some ways, but also I'm like, is that just having a baby, or is also you've just like matured in the sport so much as well, right? Like
I've been in the sport for so many years. I won 70.3 worlds 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like I've been through have you been through a major injury?
Oh,
Like
no, actually nothing hugely major, but I did quit the sport for 2 years. So
Okay.
I took a
Yeah.
break. Yeah.
But like, yeah, a big injury when you feel like your sponsors care and you don't feel like an athlete. And like, I've been through that when it felt like the worst thing in the world. And
Yeah, or maybe you've like gone down that road of being really panicked about your weight
Yeah.
before, and you realize, so
Oh.
you're like, been there, done that, realize
Yeah.
that it didn't actually change my life
Yeah.
other than being panicked every day.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so yeah.
yeah.
And then now you have like this baby, which as much as I've hated being pregnant, like I can say it was such a big smile on my face, because honestly the last 2 weeks have been a completely different life than the first 27 weeks of my pregnancy.
Crazy, yeah.
Like I was throwing up 1 to 3 times a day, and then maybe like 5 times a week. And I tried multiple different medications, and now I'm feeling so much better. At the same time, I'm like, oh, I hated it, and I cannot wait to meet this baby boy. And like, I'm so
Yeah.
excited to be a mum. And now you have this whole like other part of you that's this, I don't know, I think in the past I've been like, I'm this athlete, and I don't know what I am if I'm
Not that.
not that. And has that ever been a thing for you, like just identifying as that, and now you have this other thing? Has that been nice? Or, and that's like, I feel like coming out of my mouth in a wrong way, because I don't want to use my child as like an excuse to like not feel like an athlete. And I've done maybe like a fair bit of therapy to make sure I'm not like, I would be happy if I didn't ride my bike.
Right. But I do think it is like a natural like life progression, that it's a healthy progression, that it's like not all about you anymore. And like before, like if my sleep was compromised, I'd be so mad at myself. Like everything is within your control. Whereas like now, not everything is within my control. Like my baby, well, she's not really a baby anymore. She's 1.5 years. She was up teething last night. And like generally she's a super good sleeper, but like there's nothing you can do about it. And being upset about it's not going to help. Yeah. And like you realize also, like you need to be calm for them, because you are their calm. Like that's how they manage to get calm. So like I feel like you just kind of step into this new role, and it helps you have a lot of perspective that before you'd probably, you know, if something happens and your sleep's disrupted, then you get super upset. Whereas like I feel it will make you a little bit more robust going in, that you're, oh yeah, this is easy, I can deal with this. And like the birth, I mean, like there's just so many like unknowns that you just have to get through.
Yeah.
Like you've obviously been really pushed through this pregnancy, but like you're gonna have times that it's easy, and it's gonna be times that it's super hard, and like I feel like it's all just preparing you.
Yeah, thank you. I think, even the birth is like, I'm like, I don't want to think about it. No, it's actually been really helpful to just specifically ask women their birthing stories as well, just to be like, not one story is the same, just the same as pregnancy. So just making sure I'm going to a good hospital with good nurses and everything. So we'll be fine. My sister has just taken her 7-month-old on her very first trip to California. It's a 2-hour plane ride, and I'm like, oh, if I go back to racing, my 6-month-old will be going to like Spain maybe. Like how was that traveling with?
I mean, sometimes you look out and you think, I've crushed this. Like I think that's what you have to do. Like it's all you when it goes really well, and then it's all chance if it goes really badly. Like you just have to like celebrate when it's easy, and
if it's going wrong, do you look across at the other passengers and be like, you were a baby once too, leave me alone?
Honestly, like there's so many people that are like morally with you. They're like really like rooting for you. And like I remember flying with her when she was, I think like 3 months old, and I was nervous because Sean was driving to California and I flew with her, and like all these women were there like being super helpful, like winking at me, being like, you got this. And I'm like, yeah.
That's great.
But like, I was so scared.
Yeah, so she was coming with you to training camps and
everywhere.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like how old was she for your first race?
She was 6 months old.
Okay, so really young.
Yeah. And you never know how it's going to go. Like, is sleep going to be okay? But I think it's just like, you just learn to be very adaptable, and you're just trying to make the best of every situation. And yeah, you just clap yourself on the back when it goes well.
And it sounds like you have like a super supportive partner when he's traveling with you everywhere.
Yeah,
as well?
we do everything together. Like, he's coaching on deck and poolside every morning. So like, she's on. Sorry, that was me. She's on his chest in the carrier. Like, so like all of this wouldn't happen like without him. We were like taking it in turns early on with feeding through the night. Like, so yeah, it was definitely a team effort. Do you know what your...
Yeah, I mean, if I return to full-time racing in Europe, Zach will basically have to, my husband Zach will have to be stay-at-home dad, stay-at-home European dad, because for road racing, it's all European-based. So we've been discussing where we would live and what that would look like. And
so you'd be kind of similar, like doing it together.
I don't understand, like, unless you had a really flexible job and lived full-time in Europe with a husband, or maybe a lot of family that lived nearby. I'm like, I don't know how it would be possible.
Yeah.
And he's pretty excited about it. I don't know if he's just got rose-tinted glasses, like, I won't work for a few months. It'll be great. And I'm like, but you will be left alone a lot with a baby. Not a lot, but like, say you race, you know, I mean, for road racing, I probably wouldn't race more than 40 times a year, but that's like 40 weekends possibly. So, and how many of those you would actually come to? I don't know. It's a lot to try and figure out, but
also you don't have to figure it out now. I feel like, you know, it's like during pregnancy, I made all these decisions, like, I'm going to get the snoo, like, that's going to save our sleep.
Oh, yeah.
And then day one, her in the snoo, I'm like, we're taking it back. That's a death trap. I hate it. And like, like, you just, I feel like, if it makes you feel comfortable now making decisions, but like,
it just doesn't matter.
You're just going to do whatever feels right at the time. And like, I feel that's the only way to really let what guide you.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense from my experience without a baby so far. You know, like when
you would have had no idea like how you would have felt. Like, I feel like you just have to kind of really go with the flow. And
no, I didn't anticipate the hour of bike riding I did with my dad, which I averaged 110 watts to be like the hottest thing I've done in months.
I bet your heart rate was high.
It was so high. Like, just dying next to my dad. Like, I really, when I feel good, I've been really still loving getting out there on my bike, but it's not the same. I thought like I'd still be able to like do something, and I am doing something, but it's just not what it used to be. When I first got pregnant, I don't know, I'd heard that you can be nauseous, and I just expected like that. But then like on top of nausea and throwing up, like I thought I would be able to be nauseous and keep working out, which I wasn't able to. I think some people have told me that they'll like be nauseous, but it helps them feel better to go for a bike ride. So then I thought, okay, I'll try really hard to go for a bike ride. And I would go for a bike ride and I'd just be in the ditch throwing up. Like one time a group ride came by me with all my friends, and I was like, oh no. I'm like on the res road on the dirt, like in the ditch. And then they're going by and I just turn around and come home. I thought that like my level of fitness, like even though I would get heavier and my breathing would be harder, maybe my heart rate would be higher, I thought like my fitness would stay higher, and it just didn't. But I think that's also because I took a long time off because I was so nauseous and I literally couldn't move. People like, what have you done? And I'm like, thrown up and lie in bed. I don't know how women would really go to work in a normal sense in this, because on top of the nausea and throwing up, like I didn't understand what fatigue felt like until I've been pregnant. I'm like, the Tour de France, I'm not tired after that. Okay, I'm tired from one day of trying to grow eyeballs or whatever my body is doing right now, because I'll sleep and then I'll take naps and I'll like walk around the block and need another nap or something like that. And so I think these, like between the nausea and the fatigue and just like the limitations, I suppose, that I felt were just a bit surprising.
It is like the most energy demanding thing, like for the longest time.
Yeah, and that was another thing, like energy demanding, maybe that was part of it, but like with the nausea, like I just had to eat every 90 minutes. Like that's maybe the only thing that really helped me in being a professional athlete, because I know how to force food in myself, because you like don't want to eat sometimes, and you just like have to keep eating and putting food down when you're like, I just ate and I feel terrible, but like, and I just like a lot of cereal, like not even anything like delicious cereal or potatoes or whatever. But man, yeah, I don't know, just the fatigue and the nausea, and there was a while there I was just trying to make it through the day. But no, I think, the statistics on, women and the blood volume, and people would tell me, oh, you're going to feel amazing, like right away. And I'm like,
well, I think,
what? Like, you'll have all this extra blood volume. You're going to feel great. You should keep racing. And I'm like, what? I feel terrible.
Yeah. I think, honestly, the worst thing is like people putting on you like what you're going to feel like. Because like, it's so different. And like, it was good in a way because I had 3 sports at least.
Yeah.
That like swimming just seemed pretty natural. Like I was like pretty big, but for some reason it like really helped my swim. Like I was like this like boat. And like I obviously couldn't do anything fast, but kind of like aerobic like felt good. Cycling was like day by day, like whether I felt, and I would like try and do a long ride on the weekend. Like that was my like, all right, let's see what we can do. And I'd have everything like ready, loads of food just in case. And sometimes it was just, no, turn around after half an hour, I'm going home. And sometimes I'd make it round. But yeah, like you just don't, I think, having the like prejudgment of how you're going to feel is probably the worst thing.
I think I was doing that to myself too. I think I would do that. I'd be like, my goal is to ride 3 hours today. My husband would be like, why are you setting this goal for yourself? I'm like, because I want to do it. I'm gonna do it. And then I'd be like this bullhead, like trying to like muscle my way through, and he'd be like riding with me like, I think we should go home. And I'm like, no, I can't go home. And really, like, you should just sometimes go home.
Yeah.
And I remember texting you, like, pretty early on, and you were laughing because you had, like, combo loaded for some ride and said you were funking right in. And I'm like, I just rode up Jay. Like, it's ever so slightly up Jay to North Fulda.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think I was going to make it. Like, I didn't think I could possibly do it, because it's crazy how like, it just, what your body needs on a certain day.
Yeah. And like, you have no idea what's happening. So like, I think I at least like, because I feel like I'm very in tune with my body usually, but like being an athlete, you can override it. You can be running through a niggle like when you really shouldn't be. But when I was pregnant, I was like, there is no judgment. It wasn't a decision, like you said.
Yeah.
It was just like, this is all I can do today. I can either feel bad about it or I can just accept it.
Yeah.
And I was pretty accepting of it. But then I think, being in the sport for so many years and coming back, it's going to be exactly the same. Like every day after giving birth, after like 2 weeks, I would just sit on the saddle and you'll be like, no, not today. Like couldn't even, and you have no idea. You're like, is this going to be better in a week, 2 weeks, a month? But I didn't even think that way, because you can't. You just like, today I can't do it.
Do something else.
Yeah.
Did you have days where you felt really good, like better than you thought you would?
What, coming back?
I guess both, like in pregnancy and then after.
Yeah, in pregnancy, definitely. There were like some days that I had no idea why I felt good and could do something. And I think having some like people who were, this sounds really bad, like not as talented as me generally to like try and keep up with was fun.
Yeah.
Until I couldn't. And then you're like, okay, now I'm just doing stuff on my own. I can't remember what I was saying now.
Yeah, just like have really good days. And then it was like during your pregnancy and then coming back.
And then coming back, like I was really surprised because obviously I didn't run for like 6.5, 7 months. I had no idea. I thought it's going to, because when you don't run, it sucks to run. Yeah. And when you say you hate running, I'm like, because it sucks to run when you're unfit.
Especially when you have a dog that's just dragging you on the leash.
But weirdly, and I was only running like 1 minute at a time. And that's probably what anyone should start with. And like surprisingly, it didn't feel like that bad coming back.
It's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah, I was having a moment of like a few months ago now when you were messaging me again. And you were like, you could not ride for the rest of your pregnancy and you will be fine. And I'm like, wow, I really needed to hear that right now.
But honestly, like maybe in, you know, your pregnancy, your body, like rest is the biggest thing that you could have done for yourself during this time. And you're going to be better off for it. Instead of pushing your body past what it should be doing, maybe then you would be way harder to come back from because you've put your body in such a deficit.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. And also too, like I've had to look at myself in the mirror, be like, what kind of person, what kind of mother do you want to be? And I used to do that when I was thinking about coaching juniors, and now I'm like, oh, what would I say to my son if he was like uncomfortable or in pain with something, or really even a friend? And I'd be like, well, stop doing that thing. And I'm just like, must ride my bike. And I'm like, oh, that's terrible. You know, and you're like, just, it's okay.
Right.
Yeah. So even if we know it ourselves, to talk to someone who a friend or someone who is successful in their own sport has been really helpful. That was really helpful for me that day, just so you know. It's like, oh, I needed that.
I'm like, you don't know yet what you're going to know. I wish you almost could take a glimpse, like when you're going through the rough time. But then that's like, you know, when I went through my navicular break, how many years ago, and I thought, this is it, career-ending injury.
Yeah.
I was in a cast for 3 months. And you never think you're going to come back from it. And then I had like my best year ever, almost the year after. And I'm like, if I only knew, like I wouldn't have suffered. But you're like, but it is your own making, like during it. But you can't know until you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's good.
It's like a rite of praise. Yeah. I wish there was some like athletic, especially in running, which is an impact sport, like athletic pregnancy supplement guidelines, which obviously no one wants to sign off against because like medical advice and everyone is so different, and you would probably be having to get tested during pregnancy and you can't get a bone DEXA scan because you're pregnant. So I would have loved to know truly how my like bone density was trending during pregnancy, which there is no way to know as I'm aware of, because I broke my sacrum, I think it was in end of December and I gave birth in October. So that's really not
far at all.
Long. So, I mean, presumably I was in a bad spot by the time I gave birth because I'd been running for like 2.5 weeks by the time I broke my sacrum. And like when I then retrospectively looked through all the research and saw what the calcium demands are of just like making their bones inside your body, it's like, where is that calcium coming from? It's coming from your bones. And just when I was doing the math of like, even in the third trimester of like what your needs are, what their needs are, just to make their skeleton inside of you. And then in the first post-pregnancy, in that first few months of breastfeeding, what they're using and what your needs are, like I was not nearly replacing it. So obviously looking back on it, I'm like, oh, of course, there's no surprise I broke my sacrum. But then I'm also like, this happens to so many women, especially in running, especially in triathlon. And even I had so many professional athletes reaching out to me afterwards, like asking for advice. And I'm like, this is so crazy that I'm getting DMs on Instagram asking for medical advice because there isn't guidelines out there. And I'm like, so then I'm sending these papers that I'm like, well, maybe you should be taking this much calcium. And I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah, but it's not even something that's talked about with a midwife or anything.
Not at all. And lactation consultant. And I had like everyone. I had a lactation consultant afterwards. They knew I was an athlete, but there is no, they don't connect the two. Like they're just thinking of health of the baby and you're just kind of left, especially if you're a professional athlete that needs more than the normal person. And so I do think that would have been prevented if there were real guidelines out there. But then there's no way other to knowing than on the next time that I go through this, like does it change? But it's really common breaking like a sacrum because it's just like the easy bone density. kind of injury.
Okay, I'm not going to pick up running right after. No. But even I just learned about the calcium and where the baby takes it from your bones and making sure you're getting enough calcium like last week. And I'm like, I'm 30 weeks pregnant this weekend and I'm only just learning about this now. Like, and it was just by chance because I was reading about something else somewhat related on the internet that I like came across it. But there's no...
there is no, like, your OB is not going to tell you
make sure you're watching your calcium.
Please make sure you're taking this is what it looks like in food.
Or like knowing I'm an athlete, she could have been like, how's your bone density throughout your, because I have had a lot of DEXAs and a lot of cyclists have terrible bone density. Luckily I don't, but like, I don't know. But
then you couldn't have a bone density scan over, during pregnancy. And
did you have one done like soon after you gave birth?
I did, but it doesn't like it seemed okay, but obviously not in the spot that I broke it. So like aggregate, it seemed fine, but I've always had like a brilliant bone density. So
both.
I have like the bone density of a rugby player, someone said. So I was like, well, I'll take that as a compliment. So.
Someone told me, well, I'm never going to be that light because I've got such heavy bones. I'm like, well, that's better than breaking my bones all the time.
Definitely.
But still, you had a pretty like significant fracture when you despite that.
I think it was made worse because she did come out small. I was pumping and breastfeeding.
Okay.
So then I was producing enough milk for like twins.
Okay.
Because I was stashing it all on the freezer, and like you're like, even when I did the math of like, okay, this much milk I produce today. This is how much calcium, like I wasn't even meeting that calcium, let alone just like daily needs.
And this was something you had to figure out by yourself?
Yeah, totally. I was just deep diving afterwards, after I broke my sacrum, because I was like, how could this have happened? I'm maintaining, like I was making sure I wasn't dropping weight like too severely. And I was like really being on the more cautious side when it came to weight wise. Because it was like the whole time I was like, I don't want to get a sacral stress fracture, because this is what all the women are getting post pregnancy if they're a runner or a triathlete.
Yeah.
And then I was just so mad when it happened to me, because I was like, I was actually trying to avoid this. And then I was like, okay, I need to find out why.
Yeah. So you decided to breastfeed for a certain amount of time, or did you have kind of your similar style of see how it goes, or what was your plan?
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea how it was going to go. I know I've like spoken to people over the past, and like my sister I know had like breastfeeding trouble, so it was never an option for her. So I kind of went in for it being like, we don't know, like I would love to breastfeed, but the health of my baby is more important than my like needing to do that. And we were able to breastfeed. She was really tiny, so early on we were like bottle feeding but pumping, so it was all breast milk, but it was pumped, which was like its own, everything has pros and cons about it. It meant that my husband shared in the night shifts more because it was in bottles. And then when she was fine weight wise, we just kind of went back to just breastfeeding. And then I breastfed until 6 months. And that's when, just because also we had in mind that like, okay, I did get a sacral stress fracture, especially when training and racing is looming. Like I don't want to be putting myself in, a bad spot again, especially like, because you're choosing to come back and be a professional athlete. I didn't also want to just be, I chose to end that, which, some people breastfeed all the way and they're racing, which, I think it's just a very personal decision. And so I stopped by the time I was racing.
Okay. And I know there's a lot of time juggling, especially when they're really young. You have to pump to keep your supply up, so you can't be gone for longer. Was that interesting to try and like figure out the timing? You couldn't be gone for more than a certain number of hours, or what? By the time, I assume it took some time for your volume training wise to increase as well.
Exactly. Like early on, you're not doing that much, and it feels like you are doing a lot because your sleep's so compromised. And so if I'd get out for an hour ride, an hour swim, like that felt like a great day.
Yeah.
And pumping and breastfeeding became pretty natural. Like, I feel like you just kind of figure it out around your schedule. I remember being like breast pump on one side and her breastfeeding on the other in my cycling kit on the, ready to hand off and then go out the door. You're like, time it to a T. So then as soon as you're back and you don't waste any time. And yeah, it's kind of fun juggling it. Yeah,
sounds kind of fun.
It's comical. Yeah. It's comical. You can look back on it and
sounds like with the right partner and like the right system, it sounds like it.
And I was like such a prude before. I never thought I'd be like publicly breastfeeding, but like I changed totally. I'd be there like, walking around Costco, breastfeeding her in the carrier, and like people can't really tell, but like I would never do that before. Like on a plane.
This is my time.
Yeah, I think you just. Yeah, it was nice. It was really nice. And then you do appreciate it, especially like when it ends, that, you got to do it.
Yeah. Is she in daycare now or anything? Or
no, we just juggle it.
Time at home with you? Because she's 1.5 now.
Yeah, she's 1.5. And luckily she still naps for 3.5 hours in the day, like in one go. Yeah.
Even with the teeth or?
Yeah, but she might, like today, she had a hard time going down just because of her teeth. So we're like lying in bed with her, and last night was a bit difficult, but yeah, I mean, you just care more about them than the inconvenience to your lives. but you definitely appreciate when they go back to normal and sleep. But what's your plans with breastfeeding?
I kind of similar to you, like I want my baby to be taken care of. I would love to be able to breastfeed for, I don't know, I think I'm trying not to set myself these limits. You're learning about me over this chat that I'm really not good at not setting them.
I think so.
But yeah, I'd like to be able to. It seems like a really special thing to be able to do as a mum, and like something I'm looking forward to trying.
Yeah.
But I would like I would like the flexibility to be there with some bottle feeding as well, but with breast milk. So that's the hope. It's just one of those things where I feel like I don't really know until I start doing it. I've tried to read about it, but I'm like, this just feels like everyone is so different that I'm like, I guess
some people have trouble, some people, for sure. I mean, I read too much about like the snoo or what I want to wipe my baby's bottom with, and like, stupid deep dives, which whatever. But like, I think I really didn't know, and I didn't try and know what I didn't know. And now I really know that you don't know what you don't know until you know. So that's been kind of like, I think I was like generally quite a wanting to control everything person like before, and it's definitely made me like kind of surrender to like, which is now fun coming back. And I feel like if anything, it's extended my career, because I think in the last few years especially, like you're just stressed about like what you've done in the past, like if metrics in cycling aren't trending as well as you have done 8 years ago, 10 years ago, like you can just kind of beat yourself up about it. And like especially now, I went into Ironman last year for the first time, so it was another like unknown, and just going into it, and then even having kind of a really hard day on my first Ironman and really beat myself up, because again, it was like the expectations of, people have told me for years I'm going to be really good at this. And I felt like I wasn't, and I was having a hard day, and I just beat myself up for 80% of the day, which was like mentally painful, which like you probably can like have some kind of experience with just with your pregnancy and everything. And then like going into Kona, I really was like, I just want to make this day like a positive one, like however it's going, I just want to mentally have a good day. And in race morning, my bike computer wasn't working, and Sean, my husband, was like, get that working, because like it had been a bit dicky like in the weeks before, and I'm like, Sean, don't push me on this, I feel good about it. Because I was just like, this is helping me just like take everything as it comes. And I was like really emotional at the finish because it was like, I actually did what I intended to do and just...
So did you race Kona without a computer on your bike?
Yeah.
Holy shit, I did not know.
Yeah, well, I had it on my bike, it just didn't work.
That's like one of the most infuriating things to happen. So the fact that you could take it and just be calm.
But
like,
it
that's
did
really
happen.
impressive.
It did happen back in 2019 at 70.3 Worlds where I came second, and it was in Nice. I'm not a great descender, and like I came second to Daniela, who's like the best descender in the sport, and like I had an amazing day. It was like arguably one of my best performances ever, but my Garmin popped off in T1, and I was like, it's meant to be, and like I felt good about it, and it like panned out that like, you know, even there was an early climb that I like let people go because that was the plan, and everyone went away from me, and I was like, shit, I made a mistake, and they all came back to me like down the road, and I was like, whoa, like I was right.
It's so cool.
And I think it's just like, yeah, having that kind of like inner confidence, which we second guess ourselves all the time. I feel like we're so hard on ourselves, and like when you have those kind of experiences, it's just like a reminder that it's like, okay, yeah, we do got it, and we just like really have to, it is what you make it. And Kona ended up being what I made it, which it was like a great day, and I came sixth in my first Ironman Kona, and this year I want to come back and actually like, see what I can do and hopefully be a bit better.
Maybe use a computer? Maybe just...
Yeah. I think I'm ready for that now. I wasn't last year. Yeah, for the longest time I was using my power meter as like a beating stick instead of like a tool.
Yeah, and I think, just watching a lot of youth come up through the sport with all these technologies and everything.
Right, yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, you don't need a lactate test to tell you how hard to go.
Right.
But like just that intuition of, like you said, you've been in the sport for so long, and just like knowing your body and like the limit you can push it to, I think is like maybe a fading ability.
Yeah,
it's really cool
you need
to be able
some
to do
device
that.
to tell you if today's the day.
It's pretty cool. You can just do it.
Yeah. I mean, my one piece of advice would be, don't read anything. Ask when you have a question, because it's like what's pertinent, and like feel out for any experiences that you want to know, but like don't gain too much knowledge that's not relevant. Or I just think you just have to like, your body was designed to do this, like your experience is your experience, and no one is gonna understand, or like your body's doing what it needs to do, and like overthinking it and like it's probably the worst thing. So just like, you just gotta get through it, and
That's great advice. Mine would just be, that I think everybody's different, and it's really hard no matter the pregnancy that you have. You're growing a baby, and you just have to be really kind to yourself through it. Yeah.
One hack, when you go in for your weigh-ins, change the metrics. So I've been kilograms my whole life, but then I was pounds for pregnancy. That number didn't mean anything to me. That doesn't look like I weigh 170 pounds, 100 and whatever. It doesn't mean anything.
That's a funny one. I'm just waiting to I hit my husband's weight, so that I'm not that far away. Oh my god, you've only got 9 more pounds on me.